Hello, good day everyone. I am the reporter for Science Technical Writing on the topic Office Correspondence. What is office correspondence? It is any written or digital communication exchanged by two or more parties. Correspondences may come in the form of letters, emails, text messages, voicemails, notes, or postcards. Correspondence within the organization lends a meaning of definiteness to corporate policies and practice, promotes understanding between the members and departments of the organization. Correspondences with the outsider promotes the image of the organization, clarifies its policies, keeps its legal entities intact, and keeps its operation going. What is the purpose of correspondence? 1. Serving a notice to the office personnel. 2. Serving a notice to the individual person. And 3. Serving an order either to the entire department or to the individual employee in the office. Serving an instruction either to the department or to an individual working in the department. What are the forms of correspondence? 1. Letters. 2. Emails. 3. Text messages. We also have voicemails, notes, postcards, memos, and fax. What is memoranda? The first type of correspondence that we have is memoranda. Letter is known as an office memorandum or simply a memorandum containing a statement which is usually written by the high officials of an organization for the purpose of sharing information. A memo, also known as memorandum or reminder, is used for internal communication regarding procedures or official business within an organization. The main purpose of completing it is 1. To record its purpose and relay information and make a brief appeal. Second one, it is also required in the field of business as it helps in building good relation. Third one, it also helps in setting up the accountability of things and saves your time and hustle compared to writing letters. So instead of writing letters, we can write a memo. In establishments and offices, memos are used to give information about events to any employees or other changes made to the company. Memos are usually less formal compared to a letter. There are tips for writing a memorandum. 1. You should write a memorandum in a concise and simple way. In a formal memorandum which is issued, the initial segment of the section should tell the purpose of the memorandum and then proceed to the list additional information. Maintain a professional voice and use a language that is easily understood in writing memos. It has to be read by many people. What are the use of memo? 1. To issue instruction to the goods. 2. To tell the employees about policy changes. 3. To give suggestion. 4. Request support or information to confirm a decision made on the telephone. However, memorandum cannot be found justified if the case is of a complex or a serious nature, which involves a long discussion. A memorandum may be filed for future reference. Therefore, it serves as proof to serve legal issues. What is correct memo format? A memo is one of the most important forms of communication used in public as well in private organizations. When communicating with colleagues and other internal stakeholders through a memorandum, it is important to use the proper format. Understanding the correct memo format can help you communicate information more efficiently and professionally. Is a memo format important? What do you think? Is it important? The format of a memo is important for the document to achieve its purpose. a memo is one of the simplest forms of disseminating information within an organization. It is short and to the point, and often includes elements of persuasion and a call to action. If you use the wrong format, the memo may not deliver your message correctly or distract and confuse the reader. For these reasons, it is vital to use the correct format when you are writing a memo to ensure efficient communication. Is memo format important? So what do you think? Yes, as what we said a while ago. How to choose a memo format then? All memos have the same format. However, the type of memo depends on the purpose of the message. You can use memo to ask for information, request confirmation, or suggest an action. You can also send a memo to provide a progress report to colleagues or other people in the organization. All memos follow the same format. It has elements addressing the recipient, the sender, the date, and the body. A memo does not require salutation and may not include a sign-off. You can send a memo either in printed form or as an email. So I have here a memo format. So we have there memorandum. You have to write to. This includes recipient's name. From, this include your name and the title if you are the one sending the memo. Then you have to indicate the date in the format of month, day, and year. Then the subject of the memo. So since a memo requires no salutation, there's no need for you to write a salutation. Then proceed immediately to the body of the memo. Start with a direct and brief discussion that states the reason for writing the memo. Then provide concise but definite information to the reader. And their end with a clear closing and a call to action. So for example, we have here date November 17 to 2018 to address to all employees from Emma Johnson, Vice President, Marketing Department. Then we have the subject, facilities update. And then we have here the body of the memo. For the first paragraph, it says, I'm writing to inform you that over the next few weeks, our kitchen area will be under construction as we remodel. As our company continues to grow, we feel it necessary to provide more communal dining space, and we are grateful to our facilities team for their hard work in making that happen. If you have questions or concerns regarding the remodel, you can access the full reports here. In the meantime, we are sorry for the inconvenience. And then, for the last part of the paragraph, we have here, in between the weeks of December 1 to 31, please use the kitchen on the second floor if you need a microwave. We will also keep the kitchen stocked per usual with snacks and sodas. So as you can see, this memo really addressed the employees, to all employees of the department. So first, we have the header. In your header, you'll want to clearly label your contents, memorandum, so your readers know exactly what they're receiving. Then you'll want to include to, from, date, and subject. This information is relevant for providing content like who you're addressing and why. Second one, we have paragraph 1. In the first paragraph, you'll want to quickly and clearly state the purpose of your memo. You might begin your sentence with the phrase, I'm writing to inform you, or I'm writing to request. A memo is meant to be short, clear, and to the point. You'll want to deliver your most critical information up front, and then use subsequent paragraphs as opportunities to dive into more details. For paragraph 2, in the second paragraph, you'll want to provide context or supporting evidence. For instance, let's say your memo is informing the company of an internal reorganization. If this is the case, paragraph 2 should say something like, As our company continues to grow, we've decided it makes more sense to separate our video production team from our content team. This way, those teams can focus more on their individual goals. For the paragraph 3, in the third paragraph, you'll want to include your specific request for each employee. If you're planning a team outing, this is the space you'd include please RSVP with dietary restriction or please email me with questions. Okay, so we have here a more detailed format of a memo. So memo must have a title and then the date of sending. Then we have memo addressed to individuals, departments, organization the memo is being sent to. Then we have from, your name or the name of the department on whose behalf the memo is being sent. Then we have the subject. Enter here a brief, maybe 5 to 10 subject line to describe the purpose of the memo. Then we have the introduction, provide an executive summary of the memo in 1 to 2 paragraphs, highlighting the change that is happening, when it is effective, and what the key takeaways are for the memo recipient. Then we have the background. This explain the background for the organizational change in 1 to 2 paragraphs. Some questions to answer in this section might be the following. You have 1, why was the idea pursued in the first place? Second one, what dates, research, or background information informed this decision? Third one, what are the intended results of this organizational change? And then we have also here the overview and timeline. Describe the organizational change in clear, direct language. Specify also the following. 1, what will be changing? 2, who will be responsible for driving this change? And then when the changes will go on into effect. Then last one, we have the closing. Close things out with a final note on question why employees should feel excited and motivated about this change. And the third one, when employees should submit questions, comments, and or concerns. Okay, next is memo format double-spaced. A memo is organized into paragraphs without indentations. Lines within a paragraph are single-spaced. However, use double space between the headings and paragraph. Double spacing also applies among paragraphs. How many types of memo are there? Okay, actually, there are 4 types of memo. And this includes 1, request memo, 2, report memo, 3, confirmation memo, and the last one is suggestive memo. Should a memo be signed? So I think a while ago, I have already said or mentioned that a memo doesn't necessarily need to be signed. Memos rarely include a signature. However, some people include their name or initials in the header. What is the ideal memo length? The ideal memo should be under 1 page. Depending on the type of memo, the paragraphs can be as long as 2 to 7 lines. Memos that request information or provide a report often have short sentences with less than 20 words. Can a memo have bullets? Let's try to find out. The ideal memo should be under 1 page. Depending on the type of memo, the paragraphs can be as long as 2 to 7 lines. Memos that request information or provide a report often have short sentences with less than 20 words. Then next we have, what is the difference between memo and memorandum? Memo is the shortened form of memorandum. The 2 words have the same meaning and are interchangeable. Is memo formal or informal? All memos are informal because they are used for communicating within an organization. However, The purpose of the memo will determine the sender's tone. Okay, next we have another correspondence, which is office order. So what is an office order? The office order is an order issued by the employer or authorized or senior employees. They are instruction about the work-related information indicated by the organization in the orders of the office. Employees are obliged to accept it. Office orders is issued in the month of the week or early Monday to check progress. Next, we have office orders can be issued on any information such as changes in work hours or details of employee designation, either in promotions or projects. The order of the office is a downward communication that imposes a stamp of the company. These offices communicate changes in the designation of the employee or suspending a particular employee and granting privileges, disciplinary proceedings. Sometimes office orders are issued related to the ban. They are precise and small at the office's orders point, and they explicitly specify the information. Office orders are issued to the individual or the desired target group of the audience. What are the features of the office order? 1. An order in which instruction are compiled by the persons receiving the order. Second one, it is a means of communication towards the bottom. And then the third one, it imposes a stamp of authority and people working at the lower level are bound to accept it. It is used to communicate matters that are related to the following. 1. We have entry, we have promotion, transfer, suspension, termination of services, giving or withdrawing some privileges. We also have some restriction, disciplinary proceedings, refuse to leave an employee. Then next, what are the essentials of office order? Office order, the order should be very accurate. It should be written in a very simple words. The order should be written in an unverified language. It should be clearly specified who they are for. It should be right and down to the point. It should attract the attention of the respected person who has to comply with the order of the office. It should have specific instructions or instructions for compliance. It should be authenticated and duly signed by a competent authority. So I have here an example of an order. Okay, so it's too small, but I think we usually receive a DepEd order. So this is an example. I think there's no need for me to read. This is DepEd order number 40, series of 2014. Establishment, merging, conversion, and naming or renaming of public schools and separation of public school annexes in basic education. So I believe you are familiar with such a memo since every time or every now and then we are receiving a memo from the Department of Education. Then next, we have the minutes of meetings. So usually, we are conducting meeting in our school. So I believe that minutes of meeting is very important because they can be used as proof that we are really doing our work. So minutes of meeting are written or recorded documents that are used to inform attendees and not non-attendees about what was discussed during the meeting or what happened. Usually, during a proceeding, specified minutes of meetings are taken by the recorder so that there is a precise record transcribed during the meeting. The minutes of meeting are the record of the discourses or choices in that. They have an official status. They are valuable in law and now again, legally necessary to be written. Minutes are last when they are endorsed by the members of the gathering to which they relate, for the most part in the following meeting and marked by the administrator. We have a format for minutes of meeting. So 1, the name of the association or unit must be written, day, date, time, and spot or the venue where the meeting happened, the number altogether. For example, 25th meeting of. So in our school, we usually do conduct, what do you call this one? Faculty meeting. And then it is being written in the minutes of meeting how many times that meeting had been conducted. So, may nakasulat na, for example, 5th meeting for the school year, blah, blah, and so on. Then, we have names of directors and secretary. Then, names of members present. Names of the missing, or those who are absent. Then, record of the exchanges on the rules given above. Then, we have signature of secretary. And then, after endorsement, that of the director. So, that will become a legal matter that we can use in the future. Tips for composing minutes of meeting. The minutes are written for the most part by the secretary from the notes taken amid the meet. He or she can utilize the agenda as the structure for keeping in touch with them and utilize short structures, shorthand, and so forth to take snappy and precise notes. Sometimes, he or she may need to request that members rehash their words to get them right. So when we say rehash, it's either to ask them to repeat the words. He should also note down every one of the points of interest required for the reasonable duplicate of minutes. The things of the minutes can be written under short headings. For example, are utilized in the agenda. So before we conducted a meeting, usually there is an agenda that is being passed or binigay sa atin. So the names of the participants, agenda items, calendar or due dates, we have actions or tasks, the main points, decision made by the participants, record what is the most important points, future decisions, documents, it can be images or attached files. So, what is an agenda? An agenda is a list of the activities of the meeting in which they begin to call for an order. It usually involves the business of one or more specific items. This may happen, but there is no need to include a specific time for one or more activities. An agenda can also be called a docket, schedule, or calendar. It can also be a list of business orders. An agenda lists the items of business to be taken during a meeting or session. It can also be called a calendar. The agenda of the meeting can be with the date, time, and location of the meeting. So after which, there is a series of points in which the order is outlined in which the business is to be operated. So the schedule of any agenda can include any type of schedule or group that wants to follow. The agenda can take different forms depending on the group's specific purpose, and it can contain any number of items. So I believe that we are conducting meeting in our school, and I suppose you know how to write the agenda for the meeting. Like for example, sa homeroom PTA meeting natin. So I have here an example of a minutes of meeting. So sorry that it's very, very minute, masyadong maliit. So from minute, naging minute. Sorry. But I believe everyone knows how to write minutes of meeting. Okay, so thank you. Keep safe. God bless everyone. This is Risa B. Acedo, your reporter in Science Technical Writing.